All right, so we're diving deep into AI today, and you've sent over this podcast episode called Real-Time AI Impact. It really seems to highlight how AI is making an impact, like right now, not just in the future.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This episode really showcases AI moving out of theoretical discussions and into tangible stuff,
Oh,
things that are actually affecting us right now in real time.
it really is kind of mind-blowing to see how AI has already kind of worked its way into so many different parts of our lives.
Yeah.
Like take the 2024 elections, for example. The episode talks about how political parties are using AI to analyze public discourse on platforms like X, especially on hot-button issues like abortion rights. It's like algorithms sifting through millions of tweets,
Yeah.
just dissecting opinions and trying to figure out what the nation thinks about these things.
It's amazing how AI can process so much data, like you said, from social media, but also news articles and stuff, and then use it to identify trends. And that lets these parties create these very targeted campaigns and even predict voter behavior, maybe even try to influence how people vote on specific issues.
So it's like they have this secret weapon to sway voters.
Right.
That's kind of impressive, but also a little bit creepy, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. And the episode does talk about how the public is starting to demand more transparency
Oh, interesting.
on how AI is being used in politics, especially. People are asking about things like data privacy and algorithmic bias, and are we really getting informed or are we being manipulated?
It really makes you wonder, as a voter, are we making decisions based on what we understand, or are we being kind of nudged in a certain direction
Yeah.
without even knowing it?
And that brings us to the need to be more critical these days.
Oh, yeah, for
We
sure.
can't just passively consume information anymore.
Right.
We have to think about where it comes from, what biases might be there, and is it giving us the full picture?
The episode emphasizes that AI's influence goes way beyond politics too, right? Like it's making big changes in environmental policy. It mentions that one nation has proposed using AI to monitor pollution levels, track wildlife, and even predict climate change impacts, all in real time.
Yeah, that's right.
Imagine that, AI helping us conserve resources better and predict things like deforestation, and then take action before it's too late.
It really does feel like AI could be the key to fighting climate change, doesn't it?
It does, but the episode points out some potential problems with that too, right?
Yeah, there are some concerns, like what if the AI models are trained on incomplete data or biased data? Then they might miss certain species or ecosystems.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about making sure the data is accurate and representative of the real world, especially all the challenges that we face with the environment.
Exactly, yeah. We can't just expect AI to fix things without making sure the data it uses is good and being aware of any unintended consequences.
The episode also talks about AI being used in disaster response. Like, they describe how it was used during a recent earthquake to look at satellite imagery, predict aftershocks, and even figure out the best way to deliver aid. And the speed and precision of AI in these situations could actually save lives.
It's incredible, isn't it, to see how AI can analyze things so much faster than humans can. In disaster situations, that could really make a difference.
But what happens if the technology fails
Right.
at a crucial moment?
Mm.
Or what if we become too reliant on AI and lose our ability to make good decisions in a crisis?
Those are really important questions to consider. The episode reminds us that AI is a tool. It's powerful, but it should never replace human judgment and the ability to adapt. It's about finding that balance between technology and human thinking.
It seems like a recurring theme,
Yeah.
this whole balancing AI's potential with the risks. It's exciting, but we have to be careful too.
It is, and it's not about being for or against AI. It's about understanding both the good and the bad and being aware of how complex it really is. That's crucial if we want to use AI responsibly and ethically.
It really seems like AI is already here, and it's impacting us in ways we don't even realize. We can't just sit back and watch it happen.
Absolutely. We need to be part of shaping the future of AI, making sure it aligns with our values and creates a better world.
So where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about politics and the environment and disaster response, but those are just a few examples. This feels like just the tip of the iceberg.
It is. AI is already everywhere, and it's only going to become more integrated into our lives, which is why these conversations are so important now. This is our chance to shape how AI develops and how it fits into society.
It feels like we're at a crossroads, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the decisions we make now will impact future generations. We need to decide what role we want AI to play in our future, and that starts with understanding what it can do, its limitations, and how it will affect society as a whole.
It's a powerful message, and this episode makes it clear that AI isn't some far-off fantasy. It's here now, it's happening now, and it's transforming our world. We need to move beyond just watching and become active participants in making sure it's used ethically and responsibly for everyone.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to another area where AI is having a big impact, business automation. It's something that people are both excited and worried about, especially when it comes to the future of work.
It's a really fascinating and complex area. The episode highlights how AI is being used to automate tasks, make things more efficient, and even make decisions in the business world.
Okay, break that down for me a bit. What kind of tasks are we talking about? Like, give me some concrete examples.
Sure, think of things like data entry, scheduling appointments, even answering customer emails. AI can handle these repetitive tasks quickly and accurately, freeing up humans to do more strategic and creative work.
So AI could potentially make the workplace more efficient by taking care of the boring stuff.
That's the idea. But of course, there's the concern about jobs, right? If AI can do these jobs better and cheaper, what happens to the people who were doing them before?
Yeah, that's a big concern. Are we talking about mass unemployment because of AI, or is it more complicated than that?
It's probably a bit of both. Some jobs will definitely be automated, but others will change, needing new skills. The important thing is to adapt to these changes and see the opportunities AI presents.
So we're not just talking about learning how to code. We need to develop those human skills that AI can't replicate, like creativity, problem solving, emotional intelligence.
Exactly. Those are the skills that will be in high demand in the future workplace, a workplace that will be more and more shaped by AI. The good news is that AI can also help us learn and develop those skills more effectively.
So AI is both a disruptor and a helper in the workplace.
Right.
It's a dynamic that needs careful consideration.
It really does, and it's happening right now as we speak. That's why it's so important to stay informed, to prepare ourselves and our communities for the changes AI is bringing to our jobs.
Let's go back to politics for a moment. The episode brings up a concerning issue, the spread of misinformation, especially during elections.
It's a serious threat that we can't ignore. As AI gets more advanced, it becomes easier to create fake news, manipulate videos, even make up social media profiles that looked totally real.
Can you imagine not being able to trust what you see or hear online?
Right.
Because it might be AI trying to manipulate you. It's scary.
It's a threat to democracy and to society. If we can't tell what's real and what's fake, how can we make good decisions about anything?
It's like we're in this new age of information warfare, where the truth is constantly being distorted. It's like a minefield out there. What can we do to fight this?
Well, we have to be more critical of the information we consume. Don't just believe everything you see, especially from sources you don't know. Fact check, verify things from multiple sources, and look for different perspectives.
So media literacy is more important than ever.
Absolutely. But technology can also help. AI can be used to spot and flag potential misinformation, which can help us filter out the noise and find reliable information. It's like a tech battle against those trying to deceive us, and it's a battle we need to win.
You know, this episode has really been eye-opening. It's clear that AI isn't just some futuristic fantasy. It's here, it's now. And it's affecting our lives in ways we're only beginning to understand. We can't just sit back and watch it happen.
Absolutely. We need to be actively involved in shaping how AI develops and is used, making sure it benefits humanity. This episode is a real call to action for all of us.
So what's the next step? We've talked about AI in politics, the environment, business automation, and misinformation, but that's just the beginning.
Right. This feels like the tip of the iceberg.
It does, doesn't it?
AI is already deeply embedded in so many aspects of our lives, and it's only going to get more pervasive. So it's crucial that we keep having these conversations now while we still have the chance to influence how AI is developed and integrated into society.
It feels like we're standing at a crossroads.
Yeah.
The decisions we make today will have huge consequences for generations to come. We need to decide what role we want AI to play in our future. And that starts with understanding what it can do, what its limitations are, and what impact it will have on society as a whole.
Absolutely. This episode really drives home the point that AI isn't something out of a sci-fi movie. It's here, it's now, and it's changing our world. We need to move beyond being passive observers and become active participants in shaping its development and making sure it's used ethically and responsibly for the benefit of all humanity.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Picking up where we left off, this real-time AI impact episode really gets into how AI models are getting more and more sophisticated. Like, we're not talking about basic algorithms anymore.
Okay, so explain that to me. What's changed? They keep mentioning these advanced AI models, but what does that even mean?
Well, we're seeing AI systems that are able to learn and adapt in ways we couldn't have imagined before. Think about models that can take in information from all sorts of places, figure out complex relationships, even create stuff like text, music, even code.
So it's like AI is going from following the rules to making its own rules. It's almost like developing its own
You
intelligence.
could say that, yeah. These advanced models can learn and solve problems on their own. They're not just carrying out instructions. This opens up incredible possibilities, but also raises some ethical questions that we need to address.
Like we're stepping into uncharted territory here. What are some of the ethical concerns with these advanced AI models?
One big concern is the potential for misuse. Imagine AI being used to create really convincing deepfakes.
Oh, wow.
That could spread misinformation or manipulate people, even incite violence.
That's a scary thought, especially with how fast misinformation can spread online these days. What's being done to prevent that kind of abuse?
The episode talks about the need for clear ethical guidelines and regulations for developing AI. Governments and organizations around the world are trying to find that balance between encouraging innovation and protecting against potential harm.
It's a tough one. We want to support AI development because it could help solve big problems, but we also need to make sure it's used responsibly.
Right, it's like walking a tightrope. We need to keep talking about it, working together, and be ready to adapt our rules as AI keeps evolving.
This episode makes it clear that we need to stay informed and involved in these conversations. It's not just for the tech experts or the governments to figure out, it's on all of us.
I agree. The choices we make today about how we develop, regulate, and use AI will have a lasting impact.
Okay, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about AI in business automation.
Sure.
This is an area that often sparks excitement, but also anxiety. Some people see it as a way to boost efficiency and productivity, but others worry about jobs disappearing and what it means for the future of work.
Absolutely. And the episode digs into those very questions. It looks at how AI is changing the workplace, but it goes beyond just robots taking our jobs. It focuses on how AI can actually work with humans, make things run smoother, and even improve decision making.
So it's about finding ways for humans and AI to work together, not just replacing us with machines.
Right. And the episode gives some cool examples, like in law, AI is being used to analyze contracts, predict case outcomes, even help with legal research. That frees up lawyers to do more strategic work.
That makes sense. AI handles the more tedious, time-consuming stuff, letting humans focus on the things that need our unique skills, like critical thinking and problem solving.
Exactly. And the episode also talks about how AI can even personalize learning and development in the workplace, helping employees learn new skills to keep up with the changing job market.
So AI could actually help workers adapt to the changes that automation brings.
It has that potential, definitely. But the episode also stresses the importance of planning carefully and thinking about the ethical implications when using AI in the workplace.
What kind of ethical implications are we talking about?
Well, one concern is that AI systems could actually perpetuate existing biases, especially in things like hiring and promotions.
Ah, I see.
If the data it's trained on already reflects discrimination, the AI could just keep reinforcing those patterns.
That's a crucial point. It's not enough to just create advanced AI. We have to make sure it's used fairly.
Exactly. The episode emphasizes human oversight, transparency with data, and constant monitoring to reduce the risks and ensure AI is used to create a more equitable workplace.
This episode has definitely given me a lot to think about regarding AI and the future of work. It seems like we need to approach AI with both excitement and a bit of caution.
I agree. We should be excited about AI's potential to make things better, but we also need to be aware of the risks and work to make sure it's used to benefit everyone.
Let's go back to the topic of politics for a second, specifically the idea of AI being used in elections.
Okay.
The episode brought up some serious concerns about the potential for AI to be used to manipulate voters and undermine democracy.
It's definitely one of the most worrying aspects of AI's impact on society. As AI gets more sophisticated, it's becoming incredibly easy to create fake news, videos, even social media profiles that look totally authentic.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where you can't trust anything you see online because it could have been made by AI to influence you.
It's a real threat to democracy and social stability. If we can't tell the difference between what's true and what's fake, how can we make informed decisions about anything?
It feels like we're entering this new era where information is weaponized, where the line between reality and fiction is intentionally blurred. What can we do about it?
Well, we have to become much more critical of the information we consume. Don't just believe everything you see online, especially if you don't recognize the source. Fact check things, verify information from different sources, and look for different perspectives.
So media literacy is more important than ever before.
Absolutely. And technology can play a part too. We can use AI to help spot and flag potential misinformation.
Well, that's interesting.
It can help filter out the noise and make it easier to find trustworthy sources. It's a bit of a tech arms race, but it's one we need to win.
This whole episode has really opened my eyes to just how widespread AI's impact is. It's not just about cool gadgets or robots, it's about the very fabric of our society. Politics, the environment, work, even how we see reality itself.
That's exactly what the episode highlights so well. AI isn't just something off in the future, it's here, it's now, and it's shaping our world. And it's up to us, as informed citizens, to engage with this technology in a thoughtful and responsible way. We need to ask the tough questions, demand transparency, and ensure AI is being used to create a future that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
This discussion has really underscored the importance of finding that balance between utilizing AI's power and guarding against the potential risks that come with it.
Absolutely. It's not about being afraid of AI or rejecting what it can do. It's about understanding its complexities and working together to shape its development and use in ways that align with our values and our hopes for a better future.
So where do we go from here? The episode focuses on specific examples of AI, but it feels like there's so much more to explore, so much more beneath the surface.
You're absolutely right. This is just the beginning. We've looked at how AI is being used in specific areas, but the implications go much deeper and are all interconnected. Think about how AI in politics relates to AI in the workplace, or how AI in disaster response might be affected by AI-generated misinformation.
It's like this intricate web connecting all aspects of our lives.
Exactly. And as AI continues to evolve, that web is going to get even more complex. That's why it's important to look at the big picture to understand how the decisions we make today will shape the AI-powered world of tomorrow.
It feels like we're on the verge of something huge, a turning point in human history.
I think you're right. The AI revolution is happening, and it's our responsibility to decide what kind of revolution it will be. Will it lead to a better future for everyone, or will it just make existing problems worse and create new ones that we're not ready for?
Those are some heavy questions to consider, but I think it's important to recognize how important this is. We can't just sit back and ignore the potential impact of AI.
I agree. This isn't just about technology. It's about humanity. It's about our values, our ethics, our vision for the future. And this conversation needs to involve everyone, not just the tech experts and policymakers.
So what should we be doing? What can we do as individuals to make sure AI is used for good?
It starts with education. We need to learn as much as we can about AI, how it works, what it can do for us, and what risks it poses, and how it's impacting society. We need to be informed and able to participate in these discussions about the future of AI.
That's a good place to start. But what about after education? How do we actually make a difference?
There are a lot of ways to get involved. We can support groups that are working to promote ethical AI, advocate for policies that protect our privacy and prevent bias in AI systems, and demand transparency from companies that are using AI in ways that affect our lives.
So we all have a responsibility to shape the future of AI. It's not just on the big tech companies or the government. It's up to each of us to be informed, engaged, and active.
Exactly. The future of AI isn't set in stone. We're creating it together. And the choices we make today will determine the kind of world we leave for the next generation.
Well, I think this is a perfect transition to the last part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some of the broader implications of AI and what it all means for the future of humanity. But before we move on, let's just take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
Yeah, good idea. We've covered a lot of ground, from how AI is impacting politics, the environment, and disaster response in real time, to the broader trends of automation and misinformation. It's obvious that AI is a powerful force that's already changing our world in significant ways.
And as we go deeper into these implications, it's important to remember that this isn't just a technological issue, it's a human issue. It's about our values, our ethics, our vision for the future.
Absolutely. The choices we make today will determine what kind of world we create with AI. And it's up to all of us to make sure AI is used to benefit humanity, not to harm it.
So let's take that responsibility seriously and continue this conversation with open minds and a commitment to creating a better future for everyone. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into real-time AI impact, I gotta say, you've given me a lot to think about. We've covered AI's effects on politics, the environment, even the way we work. But I keep coming back to this question. What does it all mean for us, for humanity? Like, in the grand scheme of things, this episode really makes you think about the bigger picture.
It does, doesn't it? It's like it's pushing us to look beyond those sensational headlines about robots taking over the world and think about the subtle ways AI is already shaping our lives, you know? It's almost like this quiet force that's constantly reshaping everything around us.
So are we riding the wave, or is the wave about to crash on us?
Well, I think that depends on the choices we make, both individually and as a society. The episode kind of hints at this tension between the incredible things AI could do and the very real risks, right? It's like we've been given this amazingly powerful tool, but we're not quite sure how to use it responsibly yet.
You know, one thing that keeps popping into my head is this question of control. Like, who's actually in charge when it comes to AI? Is it the tech companies who create it, the governments who try to regulate it, or do we as individuals have any say in all of this?
That's a great question, and it's a debate that's happening right now. The episode mentions this growing need for transparency and accountability in how AI is developed and used. People are realizing that these algorithms, they're not neutral. They're shaped by the values and biases of the people who create them.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about the human element, right? The intentions, the biases, the power dynamics.
Right, exactly. And that's why it's crucial that we keep talking about these things, raising awareness, pushing for ethical guidelines to ensure that AI is used to benefit everyone, not just a few.
This episode also got me thinking about work. You know, if AI is automating so many tasks, what does that mean for the future of work? Are we all going to be out of jobs just sitting around with nothing to do?
It's a scenario that we see a lot in science fiction, for sure, and it's not something we can completely ignore. But I don't think it has to be that way. The key is to adapt, to evolve. As AI takes over those more routine tasks, we need to focus on the skills that make us uniquely human. Things like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, collaboration. These are the skills that will become even more important as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
So it's less about resisting the change and more about figuring out how to evolve alongside AI, right?
Exactly. And here's the interesting part. AI itself can be a powerful tool to help us do that. We can use AI to make education better, to personalize learning, to help people gain the skills they need to succeed in this new world where AI is a partner, not just a replacement.
This whole conversation has been a real eye-opener. The insights from this real-time AI impact episode have shown me that we're at a crossroads. This is a turning point.
I agree. This AI revolution is happening whether we like it or not, and it's up to us to decide what kind of revolution it's going to be. Will it lead to a better future for everyone, or will it just make the problems we already have even worse?
It's a lot to think about. Almost feels overwhelming at times.
It is a big responsibility for sure, but it's a responsibility that we all share. We're the ones who are shaping this future with every decision we make, with every conversation we have.
So what can we do? What can we do as individuals to make sure that AI is used for good? Like, how do we even begin to navigate this?
I think it starts with education. We need to be informed, learn about AI, understand how it works, what it can do, what the risks are, how it's affecting society. We need to be able to participate in these conversations.
Education is a great starting point. But what's the next step? How do we turn that knowledge into action?
There are so many ways to get involved. We can support organizations working on ethical AI development. We can advocate for policies that protect our privacy and address bias. And we can demand more transparency from the companies that are using AI in ways that impact our lives.
So this isn't just about tech companies or governments figuring this out. It's about all of us, right?
Absolutely. The future of AI is not preordained. We're all creating it together. And the decisions we make right now will have huge consequences down the line.
This has been an amazing deep dive. I've learned so much about the world of AI, and it's definitely given me a lot to think about. Thanks for guiding me through all of this.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep working toward a future where AI helps us build a world where everyone can thrive.